This podcast is part of the Famous Original Podcast Network family. You can find us by going to www.fopnet.biz.
All over. Contains strong language, strong opinions, and strong beers. It is not meant for children or for those who think they are children. You know who you are.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Welcome to episode 110 of Dumb All Over. Recording from how can a state that looks so nice, smells so bad, Pennsylvania, and also Pennsylvania. This is a progressive podcast with brash opinions on politics, religion, and pop culture. This week, we talk about Dumbass DeVos, Grabby Grabberson, McKissy Face Biden, Moneybags Bernie, and I Don't Give a Fuck AOC. Lots of stories with such little time. I think I broke Austin again, which is always it's a pleasure.
Does it look that nice though?
Sometimes. We also have an amazing interview with Joshua Collins, who's running for Congress. Looking forward to meeting him and finding out a little bit about his platform, maybe giving him some questions. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll wing it like always.
Oh, it's not meticulously planned and researched?
I mean, of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
thing you said.
Yeah. Always. I always plan this stuff out. How are you, Austin?
I'm good.
Oh, by the way, I'm
good.
Tom.
Wow, we're really out of practice.
A little bit. It's we're still in like the recovery mode.
Yeah.
But everything's going well with you?
Yeah.
Good.
Everything is going pretty well, actually.
Good. Very good. We shouldn't waste too much time. We have a bunch of stories to get to. A lot of news happened in the week and a half, sort of. You had episodes, so you can't complain that you didn't get episodes. We haven't recorded in a while, so it's we're broken. So let's get into the news.
Okay.
Oh, where do we start, Austin? Where do we fucking start? Well, I'll tell you where we start, Austin. Good question. Remember Betsy DeVos?
Boy, I didn't get to talk.
Listen, you snooze, you lose, buddy.
There was no snoozing. There was no pause there. You went from like the question right to the answer.
But
yes, I remember Betsy DeVos. See, I just did it to you.
Remember Betsy DeVos?
I do, very much so.
Somehow, the one of the few that hasn't gone to jail or resigned during the Trump administration, she's in the news again, Austin.
I'm sure it's for something very good.
Oh, yeah. No, she changed everything. Everything's better now.
Good.
We can move on to our next story. Oh, wait. No, we can't. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos on Wednesday defended a proposal to eliminate funding for... Take a guess, Austin.
Oh, there's so many things it could be.
Let's play a game at home. If you're listening, let's play a game. Here's the game. What did Betsy DeVos try to eliminate today? Okay. Your choices are education.
Oh, I don't know why there was such a long pause.
College.
Well, college is part of it's a form of education.
Or the Special Olympics. Which one do you think it was?
Well, I know it can't be trans rights because she did that already. Mm-hmm. It must be the Special Olympics.
Wrong. It was actually secret answer D, all of the above.
Okay, this is not citation needed. You can't go around giving secret answers.
What, they created the secret answer? Come on. Listen, fuck them. They didn't create that. I'm sure someone...
We're going to take a quick break and move on to apropos of nothing.
All right. Listen. We could do that if you want.
No, let's just keep going. These stories don't get any better from here.
No, they don't. So yeah, Special Olympics. Pushing back against a storm of criticism from athletes, celebrities, and politicians who rallied to support the organization. DeVos became a target on social media after Democrats slammed her plans to remove the group's funding as part of a nearly $7 billion in budget cuts for next year. The Special Olympics received $17.6 million from the Education Department last year, roughly 10% of its overall revenue. In a statement responding to criticism, DeVos says she, quote, loves, end quotes, the organization's work and has, quote, personally supported its mission, end quote. But she also noted that it's a private nonprofit that raises $100 million a year on its own. Ultimately, she argued her agency can't afford to continue backing it. So,
No, except that it can, because that's almost no money.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I guess what we learned here, Austin, is she hates everybody. Literally everybody.
Although I heard that this was actually a request from the White House, and Betsy DeVos didn't want to do it, but she doesn't know how to stand up for herself, being born without a spine and all.
That would be, that could be a problem.
Yeah, so...
Not having a spine, I mean.
Yeah. Well,
and working for Trump.
Yeah,
Both.
When you're rich, you're just kind of used to getting your way, so it's confusing when you don't.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So he asked her to do that. She did, because, again, stupid. And then she got backlash that she wasn't expecting, which, I mean, who could have...
How could you not expect that?
Yeah, who could have... No, Tom, come on. Who could look into the future and see that people are going to be upset you're taking money away from these Special Olympics?
Literally handicapped children.
I'm trying to play the straight man, and I'm not doing it very
Well, you
good
got to stop trying, because you're not doing it well. It's not working, Austin.
Nah, you're telling me.
Oh, Austin. DeVos is expected to present her budget to Blunt's, and that's Roy Blunt, senator from Montana.
I was going to say, this education was about to go a lot more interesting.
Not that kind of education.
About to present my policy proposal to these two Blunts.
Okay. When you say it like that, it almost has like a racial connotation to it. It sounds like...
There's nothing racist about Blunt, I don't think.
I know, it just sounds like it the way you said it. It's like, you stupid Blunt.
Okay. No,
See?
no, I'm sure we could make it a racial slur.
We could. Can we just make it a hateful slur over to DeVos? That's it. Just to DeVos. Call her a Blunt. Not
okay.
she's blunt, but she's a Blunt.
A Blunt. Gotcha.
There you go. She's a Blunt. Anyway, bitch DeVos, whatever. This article is a couple days old. Since this article has come out, she has pretty much, from what I understand, backed out of this. She's no longer pursuing the elimination of funding to special needs, to children with special needs.
By the way, listeners, hang on to that theme of backing away from sweeping policy proposals, because it is a theme this week, and she's not the only one in the administration to do it.
No, she is not. She is not. Was there a segue you want me to go with here?
Oh no, I can handle that.
All right, so Austin, who else backed away from policy?
Well, that we've been off the air. Well, we haven't actually been off the air, but we haven't recorded in a while.
Yeah, like almost a week and a half or 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, so we didn't get to record an episode. We didn't do an emergency show with the dropping of the Mueller report. Which I don't think has been a problem since, I don't know, nobody has read it yet because it hasn't been released.
That is true. Although I think just today, Democrats officially said that they request.
Yeah, they're going after it. They want it released, but it hasn't been released yet.
No.
So we know just as much as the day it was handed in.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And we even talked about this before the show. And I was supposed to bring this up first, but I forgot. But yeah, I guess it's. Yeah. Hey, well, what are your thoughts on this? Let me ask you a couple questions regarding it. First of all, what are your initial thoughts on the release? And then second of all, what do you think is going to come of this?
Oh, okay. So the initial thoughts. Well, I thought that I didn't expect them to find collusion because if you ask any legal scholar, that is an incredibly high bar. Mm-hmm. The fact that people have gone to prison at all during this probe is actually pretty, for any other administration, that would be a bombshell.
Sure. For this one, it's just a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, I think, well, the thing is, we haven't actually seen the report, so I don't know how accurate it is to say that Mueller didn't come down one way or the other on obstruction of justice.
Yeah, and Mueller's being very
Barr
quiet
could be
about
saying
this.
that.
Yeah, exactly. And the Senate, too. The Senate came out and also said, we found nothing in this report. No. But when you look at who is in control of the Senate, there's that aspect to it. It's all Republicans.
So, but the point, I mean, regardless of any of that, the point is that on this show, we did not cover the Mueller report very much.
No.
Maybe just in passing a couple times.
I think we talked about the people who were arrested more than the actual report itself.
Because honestly, we didn't know. Yeah, nobody knew what actually was happening. No. And all of those, I'd see all the centrists going on those, big Twitter threads who fancied themselves legal experts. Right. Now they all look incredibly stupid because they were.
Incredibly stupid. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And I think the media wasted a lot of time covering it when they could have covered other important things. Mm-hmm. But despite all of that, when it was released, the couple days after, I thought this is a huge, huge blow to the Democrats, especially the ones running for president. Even Bernie, who really hasn't talked about the report that much.
Yeah, and he still really hasn't, except for demanding that we are able to see it. Yeah.
But then Donald Trump did the most Donald Trump thing he could do, is take that, which was undoubtedly, until we see the actual report, this was spun in his favor. And it was a win for him.
Oh, it was a big win. It was a big win. That was the first thing I was worried about, too.
And then he goes, you know what? We've done so well. Let's focus on healthcare again.
Yeah. Hello. And who did he put in charge of said healthcare reform?
Oh, anthropomorphic penis Rick Scott.
It's bad enough that you're talking about redoing healthcare again.
Yeah.
And then you go ahead and you're like, oh, Rick Scott. Yeah. Everyone's favorite penis.
Well, not
Let's
only
make
that,
him.
the very guy who the company he worked for was found to have defrauded Medicare.
That's right. Yeah.
And was fined lots and lots of money. And he probably should be in prison. Somehow he's a senator because Florida.
Is Florida. It's Florida. Yeah.
Talk about Florida, man.
Yeah, there you go.
He's like the quintessential Florida
He really
man.
is, yeah. But just to add to that,
go ahead.
Since then, Trump has come out with his statement on healthcare, and he said, well, we're going to work on it after 2020. Because even Trump, I think, realizes that nothing's going to happen. You're not going to get any kind of health care reform. It took Obamacare how many years? How many total years for it to pass? 2 total years. I mean, we're less than.
Oh wait, maybe it was more than that.
I thought it was 2. A little bit more, but
it was 2 and change.
We could say 2. This process would be even harder, I think, especially now with the Democrats running the House. So with that said, you're not going to be able to get anything done, but all it did was piss off everybody.
Oh, yes. Yeah, including people in his own party who are what are you doing? Yeah, we just did this.
Yeah.
And we lost. Big time.
And like you said, right after he gets the biggest win of his administration.
Yeah.
Or supposed win, because again, we don't know the contents of the Mueller report.
But, but you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I think the PR spin people are right. Perception is reality.
Yep.
And this was perceived as a huge blow to all of the talking heads who've said for months, Mueller's going to find something and blah, blah, blah,
And to Mueller's credit, he did. Him and his team, they did find plenty of stuff.
Well, I'm now on the president. That's
right. And you know what? I'm still not confident that Trump's going to get anything, but I'm not so confident that his family is out of the clear. You know, a lot of people are talking about Trump, but we're not talking about Donald or Eric. Well, no one's talking about Eric. So we're not talking about Donald or Jared Kushner or Ivanka.
Nobody ever talks about Eric.
No one.
No, but the thing is that it doesn't even matter because that's not the only investigation. There's like 10 other investigations.
I know, but it matters because I just want to see one of them get locked up just for fun.
I know, but I mean, there's a much better chance that the Southern District of New York will lock somebody up.
That's true too, and there's that going on as well. And
especially
I think people kind of forgot about that one.
Yeah, because he can't pardon this in the Southern District of New York.
That's right,
because it's a state crime. So.
Yeah, so it's not over, but yeah, I'm kind of happy we stayed away from that for the most part. Yeah. Covering the news, you know, which is what we do. And whenever something came, like whenever the actual evidence came up and somebody was arrested, Papadopoulos and Manafort, we cover that. But that's because there was actually something happening there, tangible evidence.
But I have to say, I did find it fascinating this week when I just couldn't believe it. Like right after he ran his victory lap for it was like 2 days maybe. It was the weekend.
Yeah.
It was turned in on a Friday. It was the letter was written and released I think on the Saturday, the bar letter. Mm-hmm. And then he did his victory lap Sunday, and then Monday, and then Tuesday, he's like, let's do healthcare.
It's amazing.
And the Republicans are like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
It's like, they're like, what are you? And then Mitch McConnell, he came out of his shell, and he's like, oh, we're not going to even do this in the Senate.
Well, because
the president can do whatever he wants, but we're not
say whatever you want about Mitch McConnell, but...
Well, the man knows how to pass legislation.
Exactly, and he knows
and
it's
also
not going
knows
to pass.
when it's not going to pass.
Yeah, it's not going to pass.
Yeah.
It had a better chance last time. And did it pass, Austin?
No.
And if it had a better chance last time when you controlled everything, but it's not going to happen now.
I think we got a bit ahead of ourselves because we forgot to say that this was all precipitated by a judge in Texas who decided that the ACA, as written, without the individual mandate that the Republicans got rid of, the judge's logic, and you'll have to forgive me here because I'm going by the journalist and I'm not a lawyer, so maybe Andrew Torres will be able to clear this up a little better. But from what I understand, the judge said that without the individual mandate, or he found the individual mandate unconstitutional.
That's right. Remember that.
And his opinion is that the individual mandate is inextricably linked to the law as a whole, and without one, the other cannot exist. Thus, the entire thing is unconstitutional. This isn't the first time that's happened, and it's failed every time it's gone up to the higher courts. But this is the first time the government has said, we're siding with the judge. We're not going to defend the law on the books.
Oh, there you go.
And so that's when this whole thing started. Because after the DOJ did that, then Trump was like, you know what? We'll have new health care. And the Republicans are like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like,
we tried this.
It also shows how much, or how, let me rephrase, how little Trump actually understands how the legislative process works. Because I guarantee you, in his head, he thought, well, I want new health care. I'll get new health care. And then everyone...
The thing is, it shows how little he knows about the legislative process, but it also shows how adept he is at figuring out what the public wants.
Right.
The public wants new health care. Mm-hmm. The public wants better health care.
Yeah.
And the public wants cheaper health care.
Right.
The problem is he's linked himself to a party that cannot offer that.
Yeah.
Because their ideology will not allow them to.
However,
the ACA was the Republican plan already.
Sure.
But so there's nowhere to go now but left.
And he himself has complimented other countries' healthcare systems, and each time he has done that, they so happen to have a single payer or
because everybody else does. So it'd be hard to compliment any other country.
Pretty much, yeah.
Except for I don't know,
a handful. It's a handful.
Yeah.
Countries that you don't expect to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember he was very effusive to Australia, who's. And I've said this before, so it feels like a broken record, but their healthcare system is literally called Medicare.
Yeah.
It's literally called Medicare. And it's for all of them.
Yeah, and he was on national television, and he said, you have really good healthcare over here. Yeah.
I wish we had somebody who's proposing a policy like Medicare for everybody.
We do, Pete Buttigieg.
It's like Medicare for all of us? Something catchier, though. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. Buttigieg care. And that's the other cool thing while we're talking about that very quick. it seems like the majority of the candidates running on the Democratic Party are all in favor of a universal or single-payer healthcare system, with the exception of a few. But it's just, I mean, it's a world and beyond of like where we started. Just 2 years ago.
The thing that worries me is that a lot of them are now saying, "Oh, but we're open to some kind of compromise."
I know, and that's what's going to happen because they're trying. Because I think what they're going to realize is that the people who want Medicare for all tend to be on the left part of the spectrum, and they're going to vote for Bernie. And they're going to vote.
They're in the middle,
and they're going to vote for Bernie. So it's like, you can try to appeal to that section, but Bernie's got them kind of locked up. So you're going to have to try to win both. And then the true side comes out because very few candidates actually run based off of their ideology, not just to win.
Well, look at Beto O'Rourke. He doesn't even have an ideology.
We could talk about.
We said that we're not going to badmouth other candidates, and I just wanted to make that joke, and then we can move on. I won't say anything else about him.
Well, then, you know what? Perfect segue opportunity, because we're going to talk about someone who's not a candidate.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We said we wouldn't badmouth any of the candidates.
Right. This person that's coming up now is not a candidate.
Yeah. So you want to start with this story, Tom? I found it really touching. But something smells a little fishy.
Oh. I feel like I need my personal space after this one. If you haven't gotten it, Joe Biden. What's good old Joe up to these days, Austin?
I don't know, but you announced it like you're Oprah. What the hell was that all about?
Joe Biden!
Yeah. He'll touch anyone.
No. Listen, we have joked about Joe Biden and this exact thing for 2 years now since we've done the show.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is a touchy-feely kind of guy. We've said this before, even before he was considered to be one of the candidates for president.
Right. But hold on, Tom. Earlier today, I made a video with the producers of the Joe Biden apology video.
Okay.
So I just wanted to share it with everybody.
Okay.
Hi.
This is good. That's really good.
I'm Austin from Dumb All Over.
Oh my God, that's so good.
And I just wanted to say that I too can hire really poor.
He has a bowl over the microphone and it works so good. Was
that authentic and convincing?
So good.
I forgot to put it in vertical though.
Oh yeah, you got to put it in vertical.
But you guys can't see it anyway, so that joke would have been lost.
That's true. Yeah. This is an audio podcast. I'll get your shit together, man. This hasn't been that long. All right. So what did Joe Biden do? Well, he touched people again and again, and finally somebody has spoken up about it, and that somebody is Lucy Flores, a former Nevada State Assembly member who I think worked for Joe Biden in his presidential campaign.
No, she was a politician.
She was just a politician that knew Joe Biden. Because I'm reading an article about today's video, so I'm trying to figure out I forgot how she knew him.
No, Joe Biden came there to campaign for her.
Oh, okay. Because I've seen the video.
Here's the part of the controversy.
Yeah, go for it.
Whatever manufactured controversy there is over something that we are almost all certain happened because we've seen countless videos of Joe Biden doing this to lots of people.
Countless.
But she was once a Bernie supporter, and that's why the whole controversy erupted.
That's right. Okay, because
but the thing is, she denounced his campaign after that Nevada, what was it? Some kind of meeting. They had some kind of delegate meeting, and they claimed that the Bernie people got out of hand, even though apparently that's not what happened.
Okay.
But she denounced the campaign after that, and so hasn't technically been a Bernie supporter for, that was 2015, so since then.
Okay.
Ironically, also in 2015, Jon Stewart released a bit on The Daily Show.
Oh, boy.
That was all about this very thing.
Oh, boy. About Joe Biden and his touchy-feeliness?
Yes, way before Bernie even announced. So the idea that this is some kind of, political stunt is ridiculous. People have known about this forever. The fact that it took this long for it to be part of the conversation is almost unbelievable.
Well, here's all right. So I get it now. I'm caught up, but I don't care because that's the part of the story I don't give a shit about at all. It's the Bernie part. I kind of find it funny, if anything, that especially even Trump, I think, got involved. He put a tweet out kind of alluding to, he said the socialists got to him or something like that.
I've never touched anyone.
Lately. No, never. Never. But
look, Joe, if you're going to touch him, you got to grab some authority.
Please don't grab anybody, Joe. But so, yeah, we've all seen the videos. We've seen the pictures, especially the ones with like the young girls, the little girls. Now, those are a little bit more disturbing, but
quite a bit more disturbing, actually.
This one is not any less creepy. And I saw another photo, and I don't know if it's photoshopped or not, but with Joe Biden in front of the picture and Flores behind him, like in a crowded place, and her hand is on his shoulder. And centrists are taking that picture and saying, oh, now he has to sue for sexual harassment. And that's where my problem with this is. It's not that Joe Biden's a touchy-feely guy. You know why that's not my problem? Because we fucking knew that.
Yeah.
My problem is that there are Democrats who are defending him.
Oh, big time, yeah.
And what is so crazy to me is, I've said this, you've said this, if Bernie Sanders, our choice for president, twice now, if allegations come out against him, who are we believing? We've said this 1,000 times before.
Oh, the women, yeah.
You believe the women. You don't just believe the women when a Republican is being accused of doing something wrong. You don't believe Joe Biden just because, now he's on your side. No, it doesn't work like that.
Well, the thing is, like the model of a person and your character and integrity is based on what you do when it's not convenient. And whether you still do the right thing.
Exactly.
Anybody can do the right thing when it's convenient. It's easy to call out Republicans because they're so horrible.
Yeah.
And, when it's on your own side, although, to consider Joe Biden on our side it's a big stretch.
But he is. He is, because policy-wise, we obviously have expressed our problems with him, I should say. But politically speaking, he's on the left. Not very far on the left, but he's on the left.
And not only that, we've already had this this situation happen. And I know people are probably thinking Al Franken. That's not actually who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Keith Ellison.
That's right.
I no longer have any interest in supporting.
Which is, that's a perfect example.
And I actually do believe his girlfriend. I think something really strange happened there, and he probably shouldn't have run after those allegations came out.
And you know what? The fact that we still haven't heard from him since then pretty much proves his guilt, by the way. I haven't heard anything from Keith Ellison. But that's I completely forgot about him. But that's a perfect example of somebody who not just we supported and we talked about all the time. He was the piece to our House of Cards scenario. Early, if you're a fan of the show and you've been listening for a while, you know what we're talking about. We created our own fucking House of Cards scenario that made him the fucking president of the United States because we wanted that.
By the way, can I just say that actually it ended up being a House of Cards scenario because the guy we cast in the lead role ended up being a perf.
Okay, we were a little too spot on then. We were a little too spot on. But yeah, we dropped him like a bad habit the second we found that out.
Yeah. And it's easy.
It's very easy because if you're a scumbag, you don't get support. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden, it would be I would understand centrists' point of view if Joe Biden had no previous encounters like this and it just came out of the blue. I would be like, oh, that's weird. Still gonna side with the woman because until you prove otherwise.
And to be honest, that was more of the Franken situation was more like that.
Exactly. Yeah, especially with all the people coming in his defense.
Yeah.
But we still separated ourselves from Al Franken. And even though politically speaking, he wasn't all on the same platform as we were, we didn't hate him.
No, he did mostly good things.
Yeah. But we still, okay, bye, you're gone.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this happens to Joe Biden, and everyone in the center just flat out defends him.
Mm-hmm.
Even Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi's gone on and defended him.
Kind of. Actually, she was a little more hard-nosed than most of his defenders.
But
she
said
he shouldn't be going around touching people.
But she still defended him.
Yeah, but the thing is, other people are even saying like he did nothing wrong.
No, I know, but I don't care.
Yeah,
you still defended him.
Like some of it really blows my mind.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Like,
it's
there's some people who are like, "Oh, you should be so lucky to be touched by the vice president."
I know.
Like,
I know. What? No.
Yeah.
Obama's a good-looking guy. Well, he could touch me, I guess. But
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tom is in that camp. All right.
No, but
not without my consent.
You don't need my consent, Barack. By me saying that, there's my consent.
Yeah, something tells me he's a top anyway.
Yeah, 100%. But anyway, what? Why are we talking about this? Pence, don't come near me with a 20-foot pole. But there's more to this now because Joe Biden consistently makes the situation worse by not addressing it. And then this fucking video comes up today, and you did a very good job, by the way. That was very good.
Did it sound like his video?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I don't understand how the former vice president of the United States had such bad quality. But anyway, I'll read the tweet that was attached to the video since I don't want to listen to his voice. Social norms are changing. I understand that. And I've heard what these women are saying. Again.
And I've ignored it.
Again. By saying these women, I know I might be reading into it too much, but by saying these women, you're still avoiding the situation. You're not addressing Flores by her name. You're saying you're generalizing.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't just her. Now 3 other people have come out.
Fine, but then name them. Don't say these women.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Politics to me has always been about making connections, but I will be more mindful about respecting personal space in the future. That's my responsibility, and I will meet it. So, by the way, he just admitted that he was in their personal space. And if you don't read that while you're reading his actual tweet, you're not understanding that he's a creep.
Yeah, and most of that video was just him trying to justify why he did it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it wasn't even true contrition. It would have been like, look, I've made mistakes. I apologize. And I learned, going to learn from it in the future. It's like, hey, I grew up in a family where we touched each other all the time. Which is just like a weird thing to say.
No. I would say, Austin, that this would eliminate his chance at running. But I think
but they are so sticking up for him.
Yeah, they still are. And I don't know. It's getting late now anyway. I don't think he's going to run at this point. At this point, I'm starting to think that he's not going to run, especially with this. But, he's lost time now.
But the thing is, I don't know if he makes that video if he's not going to run.
That's true.
I think
but maybe
if he weren't going to run, I think he would have just said, you know what, I'm not going to run.
But maybe this is trying to see if it can stop it before it becomes worse. And if it doesn't seem to get any better, then maybe this will make a decision. But this is if he decides to run right now, it's the biggest mistake he's made. If he waits a little more, but the longer he waits, the harder it's going to be for him. So fucking keep waiting. No. But all I know is I won't support him. This is going to be, and my fear now is that he runs, wins, and it's Trump versus Biden. And now what do you do? Obviously, there's only one choice in that scenario, but man, will that be a shitty election, and Trump will win.
Oh, yeah, probably.
And Trump will win.
Maybe not.
No, he will win. He will win.
I'm not sure because
it's harder for Democrats to be Trump than Trump to be Trump.
True, but Biden, even with all his faults, is still a more popular candidate than Hillary Clinton. So.
Yeah, but that's not saying anything. My left hairy nut is more popular than Hillary Clinton.
But I'm just saying it doesn't take much to win either, especially since there's a lot of people who are disillusioned with the president. And he doesn't have that, new idiot smell anymore.
Yep.
Like, we know his policy and how he reacts to stuff now, so nobody can be like, oh, I don't know what he's going to do.
And then that's the other amazing thing. We're not even talking about his policy. His policies are shit, and his voting record is even more shit. So, like...
I'm sorry, we're talking about Biden again, listeners.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway,
jumping around.
Let's move on from Joe Biden. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about him, but I want to leave enough time for our guest later. I'm going to go through the next couple stories pretty quickly. All right. My favorite company in the world, Monsanto, was hit with an $80 million verdict in the first federal Roundup trial. They're pretty much finding out, go figure, that Roundup causes cancer. Very good. Good job. Yeah.
The good news is that Monsanto is getting involved in the weed industry, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, so good. I'm so ready to smoke weed with pesticides in it. I hate Monsanto with a fucking passion. I hate this company. I want it to go rock bottom so bad. And good. This is a good first step. I could go into the article a little bit more, but I'm not going to just to save some time.
Just keep going.
So there's that. Good job, Monsanto. Cool news. There was elections just a couple days ago. If you didn't know, you should have voted.
Were there any here? Actually, there was one in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, there were a couple.
Since I'm not technically a resident of Pennsylvania anymore, I couldn't vote.
Right. We're not talking about that one, though, because there was a centrist that pretty much just flipped a red seat blue, but it'll stay centrist, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. But this is a cool story. Chicago elects Lori Lightfoot as the first gay and first black female mayor in the city's history. Now, she ran against another black woman, so it was going to be a black woman as the mayor of Chicago for the first time. But Lori Lightfoot, with 73.7% of the vote, came up victorious.
Wow.
Yep. And we looked at her platform a little bit. It's hard to judge who she really is, but it's a cool story, though. It's a great step forward for women, for black women, and for lesbians. Black lesbians. There's a whole lot of dynamic.
And for Chicago, because they get rid of Rahm Emanuel, who's horrible.
Yeah, I know. It's very good. I can't believe he's still the mayor. It's been that long, but he's been the mayor for a very long time.
Yeah. He went from denying most of America healthcare to just Chicago.
Just Chicago. So congratulations, Lori Lightfoot. That's a really cool story. Next, this is like the lightning round of news. I like this. Ooh. Bernie Sanders sets the bar with $18.2 million fundraising haul.
Oh, yeah, but that's not the most of all the candidates, right?
It is.
All right, well, there's no way he can win. Keep going.
No. No. I should bet. It's Italian for hold on. I'm sorry. The Italian came out of me. Sanders, $18.2 million. Harris, $12 million. Buttigieg in third place with $7 million. Good job, Buttigieg. What the fuck?
Nah.
But the big difference, Sanders reached over 900,000 donations. His average donation amount is about $20. It was 27.
Oh my God, it went down from the famous 27? It went down.
He's also up by about 500,000 fucking donations.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Donations,
yeah. Harris did 12 million and only 218,000, and Buttigieg didn't release his number. So that's a little concerning.
Something tells me there's bundling.
There might be, and he has some ties with super PACs, so we'll have to see about that. And then 525,000 donors for Sanders.
Sorry.
What?
There's a stupid song in Rent that's 525,600 minutes, but trust me.
Yeah,
I grew up with my mother and my sister who loved musicals, so
great. This
stuck
is
in my head.
Thrilling.
So as soon as I heard it, I
this is still thrilling. And then finally, a couple of AOC stories to end the news segment.
What's happening with AOC?
What's happening with AOC? Good question, Austin. AOC tells small donors to cut off DCCC donations and just give them directly to candidates instead, which is going against the basic Democratic platform. That's really cool.
She's taking a very brave stand against excessive C's in one name.
Yeah. AOC, DCCC. Yeah, it's a lot. But that's
actually, it's because that they said that anybody who works for a campaign that primaries an incumbent will not be hired by the DCCC CC or the DNCCCC.
Yeah.
CC. I think that's all the C's.
Wait, no, you missed one. C.
C. Okay.
C. Okay. C.
C,
No,
C,
wait.
Poppy.
Two. No, there was two less. You know what, Austin? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
It's like the KKK, but with Democrats.
Whoa. Hey, they were Democrats in the beginning.
Yeah, were. That's a good point. So
I pointed that out many times on my show.
This is very brave, by the way. This is a very brave stand that she's making. In her, like, I love her.
And
she
Paul
just goes
Ryan
after
told her
everybody.
not to.
Speaking of Paul Ryan, Paul Ryan said
like the
Alexandria
segue king.
Ocasio-Cortez ignored his advice to, quote, just take it easy as a new member of Congress. He also said that she pretty much didn't listen to a thing I said.
Which, to any sane person, is the right reaction.
And no, even like Republicans, like more centrist Republicans on Twitter, they're like, oh, yeah. I don't see why she would listen to him. He literally was leaving because he did not win his election. Well, and he retired, but he wasn't going to win anyway.
Yeah.
His quote here before we go, quote, I don't think she really listened to a thing I said. Just take it easy. Just watch things for a while. Yeah, she has not done that.
Of course, neither did he.
That is true. That is true.
Like, the first thing he did when he got to Congress was try to ruin Social Security for everybody.
Yeah, like, did he go to other Republicans and sell them the same thing? Like, hey, take it easy? I don't think so. But he sees the AOC as a dangerous person for Republicans and centrist Democrats. And, yeah.
They tend to like her, though, surprisingly.
Yes, for now. I don't know how long that's going to last.
I'm not sure. There's something about her that everybody likes. Except for the Republicans.
I think because
and I think they secretly like her, too.
I think some do. I think the same ones who say they would vote for Bernie over Trump if that election came up, I guarantee you.
I think they all secretly like her.
No.
Yeah.
You're out of your fucking
mind. I think
mind.
that's why they hate her so much, because they secretly like her.
Because they want her to be a Republican?
They just want her, I think.
That's like every sports conversation. It's like, I hate Tom Brady, but if he was a Jet, maybe I wouldn't hate him so much. I'm just saying. Actually, I probably still would hate him. Because fuck Tom Brady. All right. With that, that's the news. That's the news.
Sounds good.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we will have Joshua Collins on to talk about his platform. And he's actually from running out of Washington State. So
second out of Washington State.
I know. Maybe that's where we should move to, Austin. Let's move to Washington.
No, I'm good where I live. You're the one who has to move.
Okay. Sounds good. Joining us now is another person from Washington, of course. We've had Sarah Smith not so long ago, and now also running for Congress is Joshua Collins. Joshua, how are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
Good. Very good.
Cool.
So we found each other through Twitter not too long ago, and instantly I realized that we are going to be agreeing on most things. So I want to give you a chance to come on and talk about some of the stuff that you're going to be running on. So first of all, before we get even into that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 25 years old, and I am a truck driver. So that's, very unusual for a truck driver to run for Congress, especially as a Democrat. And, I consider myself a democratic socialist.
Okay.
I believe, workers should have more control over their workplace, through at least unionization, but as well as actually owning and controlling the places they work for, through like worker-owned co-ops, et cetera. I'm very, I care a lot about like the environment, about, workers' rights, about fixing the justice system, and a lot of other issues. So I'm very progressive. So.
Okay. 25.
Nice.
I think that instantly makes him the youngest candidate we've had on the show. Is that right? I'm trying to think of Niels. Remember Niels Paulson from California? I don't know how old he was, but that's pretty impressive alone. What was there one specific thing or a group of things that made you want to run? Because running at 25 is definitely not an easy thing to do. So what was the thing that made you want to do this?
Well, I didn't think I was going to run for Congress specifically, but Bernie Sanders, his Our Revolution group, and a lot of the things that he's talked about over the last year and a half, it made me feel like I kind of should run. I decided to run for Congress because I was mad. My congressman, he was pushed on Medicare for all. And he's a millionaire, a multimillionaire, and he was pushed on it. And his response to it was that he would never support Medicare for all. And this is a Democrat saying this.
Of course.
Really?
So that, I found it like insulting that this multimillionaire is going to tell people who are literally dying that they don't deserve health care. So that's essentially the one like moment that made me decide to run for Congress against him. And yeah, so here I am now.
Yeah, you know what? I feel anger is one of those things that actually motivates all of us, especially in the progressive side, because we start this podcast because we were angry, and we just needed a way to vent. And almost all the candidates that we've ever had on, they all said the same thing. They were just mad at something that was wrong with the system. So that's fantastic that you decided to run. And you're from the 10th Congressional District of Washington?
Yeah, it's a bit south of Sarah Smith's district.
Okay. What can you tell us about the 10th district? What are the benefits of a progressive running in the 10th district? What are the people that are living there like?
Well, we have a particularly high unemployment rate, and we have a large homeless rate as well. And on top of that, it's very working class. So, in our district, about over half the people haven't graduated from college. Truck drivers like myself are one of the most common jobs after teachers. And it also has a lot of people in the military. One of my policies is actually that we should increase military pay and at the same time end the wars. So that we aren't sending people like all of the poorest people in our country over to fight for oil and other natural resources because they just wanted a college education and healthcare.
So I see the representative you were talking about, Danny Heck or Denny Heck.
Yeah.
Denny Heck.
Yeah, he goes by Denny Heck. His name's Dennis.
Dennis. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel running up against him? Because, and I'll say this, we've had, like I said, we've had a lot of progressive candidates come on, fight establishment Democrats, and it's a tough battle. It's a very tough battle. Sarah Smith almost found a way to do it. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did find a way to do it. What are you going to do to separate yourself from Denny Hick? Denny. I just don't trust him already. I'm just saying. I know I can't judge it by names, but Denny is not. I'm not trusting him. So for Dennis Heck, the biggest difference between him and I is I'm not corrupt. A lot of politicians are afraid to call it out for what it is. If your campaign is fully funded by corporations and you are holding $5,000 head fundraisers in Washington, D.C., like via wine tasting events, then and all the people that are coming to your fundraisers are lobbyists or giant multinational corporations, I view that as corruption. And I feel like most Americans do as well. And so that is the one thing that separates us. I'm not taking any corporate PAC money. All of my fundraising will be from regular people making, donations of, $25, $50 at a time. So yeah. How are you campaigning? Is it like, what are you doing to go out and campaign? And has that been a struggle? Because if you're a truck driver, I can't imagine you're getting much time to do this.
Yeah. So as a truck driver, I actually own my truck, which means, I'm a self-employed person. And I can decide when I work and how much I work.
Oh, okay.
So what I typically do is I will work nonstop, 70 hours per week, grind for 3 weeks at a time, and then take, 5 to 6 days off. And one of those times would be right now. I've been off since Monday, and I'm going to go hit the road again on Saturday. And that can vary based on, events that are happening. So like, for example, when I wanted to be home for the protest or the bill that we were passing to get money out of politics, I was just able to be there, and I met Cenk Uygur there.
Oh, cool.
And
very cool.
Yeah. So
nice.
I also met Sarah Smith there as well.
Oh, nice.
And so I can just kind of decide, when I take time off. And the nice thing about owning my own business is during the campaign season, I can just park my truck and I don't have to get authorization from anyone. I just hit the campaign trail and, knock doors nonstop. So during the campaign season, I will be campaigning full time, and that will be my job for that time. And, if we win, then I sell the truck and work as a congressman. If we lose, then I just go back out on the road. So it's very simple.
Okay. Just for reference, your election, I'm guessing, is it this year or is it next year?
It's in 2020, so I have quite a long time from now.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of time to get out on the road and all that. So instead of talking about policy, because you've said you consider yourself a democratic socialist, you're a progressive, right? So if we, go over everything, we're just going to align with every other progressive, most likely. So instead of doing that, why don't you tell us what are a couple of the things on your platform that you want to focus on right now, and what are you going to do about them?
Well, one of the biggest things that I feel like we should address is climate change. And then next to that is healthcare, and then automation. Now, most progressives are talking about climate change and healthcare, but a lot of people aren't really addressing the automation issue.
Okay.
And I feel like I have a pretty strong plan for it. And I also tie it into actually transitioning to green energy. And I focus a lot on the trucking industry. It is one of the most common jobs in America. There are over 3.5 million truck drivers that are currently employed, and then there's another over 6 million jobs that are tied to those jobs. People whose jobs are to monitor the trucks, work on the trucks, etc. So I think it's something that everyone should be talking about, but almost no one is. And my plan for the trucking industry is, I think we should be doing everything we can to ensure that the workers come out on top when we transition to both automated trucks and green energy trucks. And one way that we can do that is we can do zero interest loans for hydrogen powered and battery electric trucks. And the government could do that, right?
Okay.
We've done this with a lot of different industries. And the purpose for the zero interest loans would be for individual drivers, not for companies. So instead of giving a giant handout to the Swift Transportation or Knight Transportation or any of these large mega carriers, we should be doing individual loans to individual drivers to ensure that we're actually protecting the workers. And I think that would not only result in better conditions in the trucking industry, but also it would produce one of the largest worker-owned industries in the world.
Okay. Well, I like the plan. It sounds like a plan that pretty much anybody should be able to back. Now, of course, you'll run into people who will...
Truckers love it, at least.
Well, that's good. That's definitely good. Well, now, you mentioned before in your district, the 10th, there's an unemployment issue, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If you win and you are the congressman from the 10th District of Washington, what are you going to do to fix that problem?
I believe we should do a federal jobs guarantee. Anyone who cannot find a decent paying job in the private market should be guaranteed a job that pays a decent wage. And it's not just about handing out jobs. It's about how much work we need done in this country. Especially on our infrastructure. There we have, roads, bridges, water systems that need work. And I think federal jobs guarantee would be one way to actually put people to work and onto fixing that issue. So,
that's one thing that, we discovered. Well, Austin actually introduced that to me. I had heard about it and I just didn't understand it, I guess. But once I understood what it was and how it would work, and then I've seen other countries and places, even in the United States, do it. It's amazing that more people don't back this kind of an idea, or maybe they just don't know about it yet. But that seems like a pretty good plan. This is I'm just geographically. This is like where is the 10th district? Olympia? Is that what I saw?
Yeah, it's centered around Olympia, Washington, which is where I live.
Okay.
And it goes up to part of Tacoma, Puyallup, down to Rochester, and covers Yelm, Washington as well. So it's a relatively large district. Not as big as you'd see like in Iowa or something, but it covers quite a bit of ground. It's very diverse as well. It's got a lot of both blue collar and white collar jobs because it covers the more rural areas as well. Olympia and the Three City area, which is Olympia, Tumwater, and Lacey, only have about 300,000 people when the district is about almost 800,000 people. So.
Okay. Yeah. So you got a lot of work. A lot of doors to knock on at least.
Right.
So if people want to get to know you a little bit more, if they want to reach out to you or find out where your campaign is on that, where can they find you at?
We just have a basic website up right now. It's joshua2020.com.
Okay.
And there you can find links to my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and you can sign up for updates and donate if you'd like. So.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Allison, did you have any other questions you want to ask him?
No, although I do want to say that I like that policy idea of raising the pay of military personnel while also avoiding war. I think I know the latter is talked about a lot in progressive circles, but I think it's true that the personnel do deserve a pay raise.
I mean, at the current time, about 10% of our military defense budget goes to personnel expenditures. So 90% is getting funneled into contractors and weapons manufacturers, et cetera. And so, we could literally cut our budget in half, double the pay of of people in the military, and still have plenty to spend to have the strongest military ever. So seems like a pretty obvious move.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Well, listen, you got a long time to campaign and get your name out there. I love your issues. I love your platform, I should say. Just keep it up and follow the platform that seems to be working for progressives. Just keep knocking on doors. The more you show your face, the more likely you are to get those people to remember you. We've seen it work with so many others, and we'd love to see you win. It'd be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun to get more progressive voices, especially 25. We're not much older than you, but I'll speak for Austin in this, that if we could run at 25 and be confident enough to run, we probably would, but we're not confident enough. The fact that you are, that means a lot. You have to stand up to Denny, who again, listen, I'm the one saying it, not him, but Denny, no.
You'll love his campaign slogan.
What is it?
Give Congress heck. That's it.
Oh, wow. God. Okay. Yeah. I do love it. It's very clever. I could. Yeah. I mean, like if you're 12.
Yeah. Right.
Seriously though, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for
thanks for having me.
Telling us your platform. Absolutely. Best of luck, and later on down the road, we'd love to have you back on, and you could give us an update on what's been going on in your campaign.
Of course, yeah. Thanks.
All right. So, Austin, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll have our final thoughts. And so ends our big dumb show. Austin is very giggly right now, and I promise you it has nothing to do with the marijuana, because that's not legal in Pennsylvania yet, right, Austin?
Yeah,
He's just
luckily
naturally
I'm not in
very giddy.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's right. He's in Pennsylvania. Oh, man. This is going to be harder for Austin than you think, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Austin,
Wow.
what are your final thoughts?
All right.
Oh, so, hold on. Something's in your mouth. Oh, it's cotton. You got cotton in your mouth. You might want to take that out.
Shh, just gotta be quiet.
Yeah.
This is my time to shine.
Yeah, right. And sensitive lights are hurting his eyes.
My eyes are fine.
That's why it's dark as shit there. Okay, go on.
My final thoughts. Well, it's been kind of an interesting news week.
It has.
I mean,
too much news for one news week.
Yeah. And
I wish the news would just break itself up a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm. And of course, today we saw the president retweet a creepy Joe Biden video.
Yes, we did.
I admit, though, I did laugh at it, which is probably not okay.
I did too.
But
did too.
It made me laugh.
Yeah.
And the centrists getting all up in arms about it. I'm like, that was actually kind of funny.
Listen, if you're going to get upset about that, then you're not going to like one of the memes that we're going to post in a couple of days. Just going to let you know.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah, it's a little worse. I think it might be worse. It's still going to be posted, though, because I don't care.
And I'm very excited at the campaign numbers that the Sanders campaign has been releasing. 18.2 million from a little over, 527,000 people?
Something like that, yeah. Which is like, a lot of people.
Yeah. And now the famous, $27 is now down to $20.
Yeah, and I have a problem with Bernie Sanders. You ready for this? Even though that has changed, all of his
27?
shirts on his store are $27. Everything in his store is $27, except for like hoodies, which are more expensive and stuff like that. But his shirts are $27, and that was done on purpose. But now that it's not $27, you should be changing it to $20 so I could buy a fucking t-shirt.
Shut up, Tom. It's not my fault. More people like me now.
Like, all right, so I actually just recently threw in my donation to Bernie Sanders campaign. Where it's on a monthly thing. I didn't do the $27 because I don't have $27 a month, unfortunately. So I did like a $5 or something like that every month, which is fine. Yeah. I wish I could give more, but I can't. But it makes you tell you what your job is, and I listed what my job is, and then in parentheses I put I don't get paid a lot because I just want them to know. Yeah. Because I feel bad. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm a contributor to the Sanders campaign as well. When it was last time, recurring. Yeah. Because I don't. Do you want to know the real reason?
Sure.
I'm lazy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to always go back every month to give money. Let's just take it. If I don't see it, it doesn't hurt as bad.
Take my money, Bernie.
Yes, take it.
Then
take
give
it.
Me healthcare.
As long as you win. As long as you win. If you don't win, Bernie.
Give it back.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, what else you got?
Well, it sounds like what was once a fairly good news cycle, even though it was short-lived because of the president's own stupidity, in the fact that the Mueller report didn't seem to be that damning. Now, members of the Mueller team are telling the press, actually, it is fairly damning, and Barr doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, or he's clearly covering up something for the president.
What's funny, Austin, is did we record yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. We recorded yesterday, but then we came back today to it's Thursday now to interview Joshua, and in that one day, some of the stuff that you're just telling me are all stuff from today. All these news breaks all happened within one day.
I know.
And I just wanted to prove it to everyone that every time we do this fucking show, the moment we are done, news breaks every single time. Like important news.
Important news, yeah.
It's never, it sucks.
So I think that it's not going to be such an easy road for Trump. And then I also saw that Michael Cohen has recently discovered or gained access to a hard drive with a ton of documents in it that are bad for the president, apparently.
I did not hear this.
Yes. And so he's asking Congress to spare or postpone his jail sentence so he can come in and testify again.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I guess if he has that evidence, then he's probably going to come back. But man, more fireworks, which means we got to talk about this shit again. You know?
Yeah, but it's like, that's
man.
why it still shocks me how little Trump rode that good news cycle. Which makes it sound like the news cycle is like a bike. Hop on my news cycle.
It kind of does. But I mean, maybe that's why they call it a news cycle. Because
no, that's not what
I don't know where I was going with that. I'm sorry.
When a joke doesn't work and you just kind of trail off.
Yeah. But I will say this. Trump is his stuff is not, his stories are not going to get any better. His life is not going to get any better.
No, yeah, he should have rode that wave for like weeks, months, maybe.
No healthcare reform now.
Yeah. A couple days later, I know what everybody loves to talk about.
You don't. Apparently, actually,
hey, everybody,
he has
let's
no
talk
idea
about healthcare.
Do you know why he doesn't know? Because it's about him. Everybody likes to discuss him.
Yeah.
Not always in a good way, by the way.
No.
So, anyway, anything else?
Of course, I want to thank Joshua Collins for coming on. Very good interview, very interesting. I like his policy positions.
25 years old. What?
Okay, Tom.
So, I knew he was young just by looking at his pictures. I had no idea he was 25.
Did not, yeah.
And
makes me
that's
feel
really
so
cool.
Old.
It does. I forgot. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is 1 year older than us, right?
Yes.
Or she's a year older.
2 years older.
2 years. Okay, but she's
born
older.
in 89.
Okay. Again, Neil Paulson, I forgot his age, but I'm pretty sure he was about our age.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Sarah Smith is about our age.
Yeah.
And I feel like Joshua Collins might be the youngest, which is, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I think that's awesome. But like and the establishment should be afraid because it's getting younger. It's not getting older.
Yeah.
It's not like it was a quick wave of young people. Like Joshua Collins is a prime example. 25 years old and he's going up against an establishment Democrat.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it's a tall order.
So we wish you the best of luck. Hopefully we'll get to chat with him one more time. Or maybe he becomes as big and famous as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and then never contacts us again. Alexandria, you promised. You promised. That's why we always say this at the end of the interviews. We'll have you back on again, right? Yeah. And everyone has said yes, including you.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, she was just on an MSNBC town hall.
Listen,
we're going to millions of people.
Listen, here's the thing. We will support her. She goes on MSNBC and you don't get 100% support.
The audience was pretty supportive because it was in the Bronx.
Yeah, it was a town hall. Yeah. Okay, I'm talking about the talking heads there. Specifically. But anyway, why are you making a point against this?
What? I know you got me thinking about the talking heads.
No, don't think about the Talking Heads. That's a terrible, terrible band that should have never existed. Good. Leave. If half of our audience is Talking Heads fans, then fuck them. Don't give a shit.
Oh, man.
No. First of all, they do not have that many fans. Like, we don't even have that many fans, and I guarantee it's not half of our fans. No fucking way. And Ron doesn't count. Ron doesn't count. No.
Again, just attacking Ron out of the blue.
Yeah.
Why?
I thought I haven't attacked Ron in like 2 episodes, so I felt like I had to attack Ron.
Why? Does he like the Talking Heads?
I don't know. He looks like he might.
What does that mean?
It looks like he might. He's a free-spirited kind of guy. Ron, just message us on
I'm so
Twitter.
sorry to everybody, especially you.
No, I'm not. Don't be apologetic for me. It's okay. I accept it.
I'm apoplectic about you. What are you talking about?
Huh? Yeah. It's just like the Grateful Dead. It's like, no. But I respect the Grateful Dead a little bit more. At least they made music. Unlike the Talking Heads. Burning down the house. Sam, why don't you burn down your records, you fucking trashy band? Anyway, what were we talking about? What are we doing? Oh, closing up the show. That's right. Hey, thank you, Joshua Collins, for coming on the show.
An angry tirade against the Talking
Heads. I wasn't angry. I was stating facts. I was stating facts.
Oh, Tom.
My dad likes the Talking Heads. He can attest to my disinterest. Disinterest?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a word. It's a word for right now because I don't feel like Googling another word too.
Okay.
Man, talking is hard. Talking is hard.
Good thing
so
we
we're
didn't
just
choose
gonna
to
stop.
do this for a living.
Yeah, a living. Look at this guy, a living. Speaking of that, patreon.com/dumballoverpod. That's patreon.com/dumballoverpod. Give us your money.
Yes, all those donations you've been giving to, Mike Hickenlooper, you can just stop doing that and give them to us instead.
Wait, what?
Who? What? Who?
What?
Hickenlooper?
Who the fuck is that?
He's running for president.
No, he's not.
Actually,
Who's
I think
that?
his name is John. But the fact that nobody knows is a testament to he's not that popular.
Like somebody else decided to run for president today.
Yeah.
Tim something from Ohio?
Is it Tim Ryan?
Who cares?
Is that like Paul Ryan's brother?
Why would you join?
Never trust anybody with 2 first names.
No, I agree. But why would you join this race? Why does
And
anybody?
Why
would
the View?
Yeah, yeah. But why would he think that he's going to be able to beat Bernie and Harris and Booker, or even Buttigieg? He's not beating any of these.
Yeah,
no one even knows who he is.
Yeah.
People in his district don't even know who he is. Come on, ridiculous.
Even Hickenlooper's like, come on, buddy, you don't got a chance.
Stop saying that name. That's not a real person. All right, we're done.
He's so a real person.
He's not a real person. Just like the Talking Heads are not a real band. We'll be back next week with a whole new shit ton of stories to talk about.
Now we just lost all our Hickenlooper fans.
Oh, the whole -4 Hickenlooper fans. Wow. I'm really going to miss those fake people.
What is that? That'd be a good band name.
No, it would not be a good band. Goodbye, everybody.
Hickenlooper.
No.
I'm going to title this episode Hickenlooper.
Is that the return of the cover band?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that would be a great name for a cover band, Hickenlooper.
Okay.
What kind of cover band would it be, though? That's Joe's job. That's not my job.
Yeah. We haven't done that in a while.
I know.
So
Hickenlooper.
This week's cover band. Once again, thank you so much for listening. As always, you can find us on Spreaker.com/DumbleOverPod. We're also available on iTunes. Just look up DumbleOverPod. We are on all the social medias, starting with Twitter @DumbleOverPod, Facebook @DumbleOverPod, and of course, there's Instagram. And you guessed it, it's @DumbleOverPod. We are also on Patreon, so check out our Patreon at patreon.com/DumbleOverPod. And if you're interested in buying some merch with some special logos, you can check that out at tpublic.com/user/DumbleOverPod. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next week.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.